This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. So hello and good evening. My name is Denisha McDonald with Our Village Initiative, and we partnered with the Olmsted Green project and the entire team to bring you guys 80 units of homeownership coming to Mattapan. You can please mute your mics. Let me see. Let me just mute everyone. Okay, we should be good to go there. Sorry about that. So wanted to make sure that we explain the home buying process to you guys. What does it look like to take advantage of this amazing opportunity that Boston Housing Authority has in partnership with the City of Boston, and then apply those numbers to a real life project that you guys could apply to that's new construction homes, and show you what those numbers could look like for your situation. And even within there's room. Wilfred will be going over that with us today in terms of what that looks like and what the nuances are. But you guys know there's $75,000 out there for you from BHA, in addition to down payment assistance from the City of Boston. And depending on where you live, those programs may also be able to be combined on top of this for an even more down payment. So again, we have Ms. Tessa.Kahan of BHA. We have Wilfred Edwards of Needham Bank. He's one of the lenders who help support the Section 8 to Homeownership program. He is amazing at what he does. I feel like you might be the #1 loan officer for these loans, Wilfred. Tell me if I'm right or wrong, because you're it. You're the man. So Wilfred does a lot of these. He's very knowledgeable. So he's going to be able to answer any of your questions from the perspective of, what do lenders look for? What is important to them, right? It's not what we think they want. It's what the facts say, what the law says, what the guidelines are, okay? So we're going to start the presentation. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat, and we will answer them towards the end, or if there's an opportunity when the presentation is happening to do that, we will do that as well. Okay. Thank you, Tessa.
All right. Hello, everybody. So Denisha, Wilfred, and I are here tonight to talk to you about BHA's First Home program and your opportunity to participate in that program by purchasing at the Preserve at Olmsted Green. So tonight, I'm going to go over our First Home program, Section 8 mortgage subsidy, eligibility requirements. Denisha will discuss a little bit more about this amazing opportunity at the Preserve. And then Wilfred will talk a little bit more about mortgage lending. I'll jump back in to discuss how to apply and next steps. Okay, so BHA's First Home program is specifically a program for Boston Housing Authority residents. So hopefully all or most of you on this call tonight are current Boston Housing Authority residents. That is a requirement of our program. So being a BHA resident interested in home ownership, you are able to participate in our First Home program. So in our program, you're able to receive financial assistance towards your home purchase at the Preserve at Olmsted Green. So BHA residents are able to receive $75,000 in down payment assistance and continued monthly mortgage subsidy through our First Home program. So a quick overview of our First Home program.
One moment, Tessa. Someone said they have to leave and join. Can everyone hear us? If you can hear us, just type a 1 in the chat if you can hear us. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Continue.
Okay, so going over the program benefits of BHA's First Home program, you would be eligible to receive $75,000 in financial assistance towards your home purchase and receive continued monthly mortgage subsidy from BHA. This program can be combined with other programs, Mass Dreams, Stash, anything like that. And one of our program requirements is to purchase a home within Boston, and all of the units at the Preserve at Olmsted Green are within Boston. So that meets that program requirement. So the $75,000 in financial assistance can be used towards closing costs, interest rate buy down, and down payment assistance. This money is given as a grant, so it is yours. It is not a loan, and it will be included in your mortgage pre-approval amount, which will increase your purchasing power towards buying a home. For monthly mortgage subsidy, similar to Section 8 rentals right now, BHA will pay a portion of your mortgage each month. So essentially, you'll be responsible for paying 30% of your household income towards your mortgage. The maximum subsidy term is up to 15 years. For elderly or disabled, it's up to 30 years of monthly assistance. So I always get asked, why do I use the phrase up to 15 years? And basically, as a homeowner, our goal for you is for you to be able to take on your whole mortgage within that 15-year span. So all participants in Section 8 pay 30% of their income towards their housing. Whenever that 30% of your income is equal to your full mortgage payment, is the time that subsidy stops. Subsidy would be $0. So when exactly this will happen will vary for each homeowner, as every homeowner has a different income, family composition, cost of their home, things like that. But once your 30% of your income is equal to your mortgage payment, subsidy will be terminated. So we have this really great online calculator to help you estimate how much your monthly mortgage subsidy may be as a homeowner. So your monthly mortgage subsidy, also known as HAP, which stands for Housing Assistance Payment, is determined by your household income, your BHA voucher size, and the zip code of the home that you purchase. So you can take these 3 factors and plug them into our online calculator. You can actually click on the word calculator on this screen. We'll be sure to share these slides at the end of the presentation. It will open up our online calculator and you can see what amount of monthly assistance you may be eligible for. So far in the year 2023, I actually need to update this slide as of last week. We now have 14 households using monthly mortgage subsidy, which is so exciting. But as of last week, when I made this slide, we had 12. So you can see here the purchase prices of all of these new homes, the family size, their annual household income, their voucher size, their zip code, just to get an idea of who has successfully bought a home through our first home program. On average, each home buyer is receiving about $1,900 a month in subsidy or HAP. So it's really exciting to see so many successful buyers. And I'm really excited to hopefully add some of your success stories into a future slide as well. So hopefully between myself, Denisha, Wilfred, and everyone else on our teams, we can help make your goal of homeownership a success. So going just a little bit more into eligibility requirements for our first home program. You need to be a BHA resident. So that means that you're an active resident in good standing at Boston Housing Authority. You need to have meet our minimum income requirement, which is 50% of the area median income. And I have a slide coming up based on household size that kind of breaks down those numbers. Employment, you need to be working at least 30 hours per week. This does not apply to elderly or disabled. Savings, you need to have at least $4,000 in personal savings. Credit score needs to be a minimum of 650. You need to be a first-time home buyer. So this means that no one in your household has owned a home in the last 3 years. You need to complete a first-time home buyer class, and those certificates are good for 3 years, so just needs to be completed within the last 3 years. And then to qualify for our down payment assistance of $75,000, you must purchase a home within Boston, which again, the Preserve at Olmsted Green is within Boston, so you would qualify. And I'll let Denisha talk a little bit more specifically about Olmsted Green.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So hopefully you guys, I saw some questions in the chat. I was able to answer them as we went along. Hopefully that helped. This program is exclusive to residents who are part of the BHA, Boston Housing Authority. So if you're part of Quincy Authority, Somerville, Brockton, this is you cannot use this program because it's exclusive to Boston Housing. But I encourage you to ask your provider if they offer something similar. So some housing authorities offer the homeownership voucher, so you can purchase a home using your voucher. They may not have the same down payment assistance or the same incentives. So you might want to ask what they have, because they do offer something. It will just be different than this program. So I encourage you to inquire. Not all housing authorities offer it, so you do need to ask your specific housing authority if they do offer it or not, okay? Next slide, please, Tessa. Thank you. So the preserve at Olmsted Green, this is you guys, if you drive by on Harvard, the easiest, Harvard and Morton, easiest little intersection for you to see, you'll see that there are homes currently there. They're different colors. Some are blue, some are pink, some are kind of a creamish color. Wonderful single family homes, some townhomes that you guys see when you drive by there. That is one of the phases of Olmsted Green. This phase that we have now is called the preserve, where we'll be building 80 condos and townhomes for home ownership. So not for rentals. These are exclusive to home ownership so that people can actually build wealth and advance their family legacy. It is a combination of 2 and 3 bedroom condos, and we do have some available for mobility and disability requirements as well. Next slide, please. Someone asked in the chat if this program is for single families. I believe it is, right, Tessa? Exclusively for single families or condos?
Nope. I answered that question in the chat. Oh, I sent a direct message, not to everyone. Technology, I'm so sorry. So you can purchase a single family home, a townhouse, or a condo, any type of unit. As long as it's one unit, you cannot receive monthly subsidy if you purchase a multi-unit home, meaning like you own 3 units, you live in one, you rent out 2, you would not be eligible for subsidy.
Okay. So if you're going to use the program, it's only for single families, condos, townhomes, which are Olmsted Green. That's exactly what we are constructing. So here's an aerial view for you guys so you can see kind of the neighborhood and what it looks like. It's a beautiful, vibrant community. So it's not, to me, I say it feels like you're in the suburbs, but you're in the heart of the city. So you don't feel like the typical Boston, right? You have tree-lined streets, you have grass, you have greenery, it's single family homes. It's quieter in there compared to outside of the community, and you feel the difference. So I encourage you to drive by if you've never been there or never seen it, so you can experience it, because it really is something that I think you should experience, because you do not feel like you're in the city of Boston at that time. Please, next slide. I wanted to show you guys some examples of the floor plans. I think it's important for you to see what it would look like. These are just 2 of the floor plans that you guys can take a look at, and we'll go over the numbers. I think it's important for you to say, you know, when someone says a home costs $500,000 or $200,000, well, that doesn't mean a lot to me, because I don't live my life in the grand, right? I live my life on a monthly basis. So what does that look like? So on the left, you have the 2-bedroom floor plan where you have the bedrooms that are upstairs with a full bath. You have your washer and dryer, so you do not have to go downstairs to do laundry, which is amazing. And then you have an open concept kitchen, living room, dining room, and you also have a half bath downstairs so that you can be entertaining and people don't have to go upstairs to utilize your restroom. So I think it's a great floor plan for you to have. Each unit also comes with 1 parking space, so you do have parking as well. In addition to the development, or the community also has guest parking areas, so you do have that option as well. The average size of the units for the 2 bedrooms are about 1,000 square feet. I would say that's a typical size for Boston. Some of the 3-bedroom units are 1,100 square feet, to give you perspective. So these are pretty decent sizes. And the price range is from $275,000 to $420,000 for the affordable units. And then there are also market rate units that are available. But today we're just talking about the affordable units or the income restricted units. So at $275 purchase price, we had Wilfred do the math for you guys so you can see what does it compare to when you're thinking of rent compared to home ownership. These numbers take into account the subsidy, well, the down payment grant, so the $75,000, plus you also qualify for Mass Dreams. There's another program that they can add on to this where you get an additional 5% towards your purchase price or your down payment towards the home. So it reduces how much that loan amount is. So to own a 2-bedroom townhouse, like you own it, it's not the landlord, the rent's not going to go up every month, you're going to be paying around $1,300. That's also including taxes, insurance, condo fees, or homeowners association fees, right? So this is doing the math all in based on today's numbers, okay? If you were to purchase at $350,000, and I'll show you what the income tiers, what they mean 2 slides from now. So you'll see what those 80%, 100%, what they mean. So if you're going to purchase the unit at $350,000, your all-in housing costs based on today's prices or interest rates would be about $1,800. So as you can see, it is more affordable for you to own brand new construction with parking in a great community close to public transportation and everything else for less than it costs to rent in Boston right now. You also have the benefit of additional subsidy. So these numbers do not include if your subsidy is going to cover $1,000 of your rent or $500 or $200. So these payments would actually be lower. This is just taking into account down payment assistance. This is not taking into account the additional monthly subsidy that you would have. So it's a huge savings and a great opportunity for you because now you are taking full advantage of a unique opportunity, and it helps build your family wealth. It helps you start transitioning your legacy for your family because you're building equity. You're paying down this mortgage every month. You're getting help to pay it down even faster so that it becomes more affordable technically over time, okay? And then we look at if you're purchasing it at $420,000, your payment would be around $2,200 a month. And this is not considering any of the additional monthly subsidy, okay? Next slide, please. So here is one of the 3-bedroom floor plans. So we have 2 bedrooms upstairs with your full bath, washer and dryer. Open concept again, which gives you a lot of options, and you have a full bedroom and full bathroom downstairs. I think this is great, especially if you have intergenerational housing or accessibility issues or mobility issues where you have a full bedroom downstairs, which is really helpful. I love it. So now let's look at the prices, right? The square footage is just under 1,300 square feet. This is larger than the typical 3-bedroom apartments from the triple deckers that we see in Boston, right? It's a little bit larger, around the same size as some of them. So when we're looking at sales prices and what that correlates to as a monthly housing cost, we're looking at $300,000 purchase price. You're all in to own a 3-bedroom in Boston is less than $1,500, not including your subsidy. To the price at $390,000, you're at around $2,000 to own that 3-bedroom. And then at 120% AMI or $465,000 purchase price, you're at $2,500. All of these are significantly less than what market rent is right now in the city of Boston. A 3-bedroom is not less than $3,000. And if it is, there's a reason why it's less than $3,000. So as you can see, you're getting 3-bedroom unit for significantly less than you would pay for a market rate if you're buying something market rate, and absolutely significantly less than what you would pay if you were renting, right? So thinking of your subsidy or your portion being 30% of your income, you can see what a huge savings this is for you and for your family overall. Next slide, please. So you guys saw all of the columns of the 80%, the 100%, the 120. It's like, what does too many numbers, Nisha? What does this all mean? All you need to focus on is to know kind of what your category is. Your income needs to be below, at or below these numbers, right? So if you make less than 83,120 for a one-person household, then you would be at the lowest purchase price. If you make over that, then you get bumped into the next tier of sales prices for those units. And that's how it goes. So if you make over one tier, you're automatically into the next tier. If you don't make that one, you're automatically into the next tier, right? You can't go over these numbers, but you can be under these numbers. And even for you guys, it's a little bit different in terms of the calculation, and Wilfred can explain a little bit more. Because you have the subsidy, most likely you may be below these numbers, but you can still afford to purchase something in a different income tier just because the subsidy is there to help you make it affordable. Hopefully that makes sense. In the chat, someone asked if this program is specific to Olmsted Green. No. So this program is exclusive to Boston. So you need to purchase a home in Boston. But we're showing you this particular property or this project because I think it's really helpful for people to have a goal and to have something that you can see that's tangible and understand their differences, right? You can buy an older home, you can buy a smaller home, you may get a larger home, you get new construction. So this is showing you one option, which would be new construction in a great community. And you'll be with a lot of other new first-time home buyers as well. It's a community of owners that you'd have access to. Next slide, please. So how do you, and one of my slides did not come in here. I think it may be later, but wanted to show you guys kind of, there are walking paths. You have a community room, a community space. So you can cancel if you have a gym membership, there's a gym on site, right? You can cancel your gym membership and save, right? You have a community space for gatherings. So if you want to have large events or birthday party, and you don't want everyone in your house or in your space, you can utilize this common area to entertain guests. Lots of walking paths, lots of green space, you're close to everything. So it provides a great opportunity to just escape the hustle and the bustle of city living just for a moment. When you come home, you're coming home to peace and tranquility, which is awesome. Okay, next slide. How do you qualify for these? Well, for these affordable homes, you must be a first-time home buyer. Obviously, if you're utilizing BHA, you would be a first-time home buyer as well. You must obtain a pre-approval from a lender. So that's when you go to the bank and you say, hey, I have this voucher from BHA and they said I can purchase a home. Can I? How much will you pre-approve me for? And then they go and they do all of their math and they give you back that big number and tell you whether you're pre-approved for 200,000, 500,000, 300,000. They tell you what that number is. And then you take that number and now you go look for a house, right? For this program, you would take that number, you'd be applying for these units and it's a lottery. So you apply and you get selected and no one else can compete with you for that unit. Once you're selected, as long as you can move forward, it's your unit, which is awesome, okay? It must be owner occupied, same rule for BHA. So you cannot purchase it and then move out and say, I'm going to turn this into Airbnb or I'm going to turn it into a rental and have a tenant in there. You cannot do that, right? If you do that, one, you will most likely lose your subsidy, and two, you will have to sell your unit because now you violated the rules, or you'd have to move back in. So these are owner occupant units. You have to be an owner. You have to live in it. And then again, like I said, it's based on a lottery. So the lottery application timeline, we're still finalizing that. I think it's going to be either late September, October, maybe October, November. It's later in the fall this year where you apply. So if you have interest, I have the link here. Nope, I used it again, Tessa. I'll scroll back to get it. We have the link. We'll put that in the chat for you to apply if you have, well, to inquire so we can make sure your finances are where they need to be, help you if you need to repair anything. So if you have poor credit, you don't have the savings requirement, we can help you put those things together so that when you apply, you know that you have a better chance of being called for one of these units, right? So once you submit your application, they have to go through the entire process of screening everyone and then notifying people. Through all of that, you're going to hear from me. And I'm going to be checking in on you to make sure you're sticking to your goal, because you said you want to buy one of these units. So you're not messing up your credit. You're still saving. You're still paying down debt, so that Wilfred, when he comes to speak, he's happy with you by the time you get to him, right? And he's not pulling his hair out because you don't have the credit score, you don't have the savings. We want to make sure you have everything that you need. Next slide, please, Tessa. So why I love this, a unique opportunity. We know the sales prices in Boston are crazy. Interest rates are crazy. But with this program, with this partnership, it makes it all affordable, extremely affordable. And what does that allow for you? It allows you to break that curse and that heavy feeling of poverty. And like, I need all of this assistance, to where it's like, I am empowered, right? Now I am a homeowner. Something that was not possible years before, now it is. I can own, I can build wealth for me and my family. It gives you an opportunity to purchase at a price that doesn't exist for others. While you might be paying $200,000 or $300,000, other people might be paying $500,000 for the same thing, right? So that's a huge savings for you right there. It gives you a chance to stabilize your housing cost. You don't have to worry about rent going up and that 30% of your income kind of creeping at all, because again, it's stabilizing your housing cost. Now you can earn more, right? Because hopefully the goal is you're not going to be on this forever. It's 15 years of support, but that is so that you can transition to paying for this fully for yourself. After 15 years, technically you've paid off half of that mortgage, right? So it should be where we're building in the steps so that it's more affordable for you, and it helps you focus on your other goals, because housing now becomes less of a stressor for you. It's, what are my other goals? What else do I want to accomplish for my family? What else do I want to focus on? Now you can put your energy into that, because housing is secured, housing is stable, okay? And you can leverage that to purchase your next property. So let's say you utilize this program, you have the additional subsidy for, let's say, 10 years, right? And then your income has increased, you've been saving all along, and you're like, well, now I want to purchase that multifamily that Tessa said I couldn't purchase with this program. You can live here if you like this, but you want to have an investment property. You still live here because you love the single family, you love living in the community, save your money, and now you can still go and buy the multifamily. But guess what? You saved all that money, right? You did the work to make sure you have the funds to now go buy your second property and invest. So this creates that amazing opportunity for when we say breaking generational curses and building legacies, it really does create that for you. And it's really important. And we are proud of that. That's why we're partnered here, because of the mission and making sure you have access to this. And then when you sell, you have access to the equity, right? It's a little bit different with affordables. You won't have the full value, but you do get appreciation over time or increased equity from the home over the year. So you walk away with something, right? So it's not where, like, when you're paying rent, when you walk away, you just get back your security deposit. That's pretty much all you get. With this, if you decide you want to sell, you actually get to walk away with something. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys in terms of thinking of the possibilities of what this opportunity provides for you and for your family. Next slide, please. Tessa, this is for you. Oh, you're on mute.
My goodness. Okay. So interested applicants who currently meet all of the eligibility requirements that I outlined at the beginning of this presentation are considered ready applicants. And if you're still working on some of those things, not to worry. I have a whole slide for not ready applicants coming up. So if you currently meet all of our first home program requirements, I encourage you to apply online to our first home program for the preserve at Olmsted Green. So this application is specific to BHA's first home program for those who are interested in purchasing a home at the preserve. So this link, again, if you are reviewing these slides later on, you can click on it. It'll bring you to the application page. I also copied and pasted in our chat the link to the application as well. It's the first message in our chat tonight, and then a few messages back. I pasted it again. So if we were to click on this link, it'll pull up basically our first home program application. And so here you'll, include all of your information, upload your documents certifying that you are eligible for our program. So it looks like this online. And then to just take a minute to go over our first home program, you'll start by submitting that online application, and then I will review your application for initial eligibility, meaning if you are ready or not ready to proceed in our first home program. I will then issue you a BHA homeownership voucher, which you can use to bring to a lender like Wilfred, who is a rock star, to obtain a mortgage pre-approval. And then at that time, if you're selected via lottery, and you would have an accepted offer on a home at the Preserve at Olmsted Green. And then from there, you would be able to receive BHA's financial assistance and monthly mortgage subsidy. And then maybe my not ready slides, Denisha, are a little bit later.
Yep, so this will be for Wilfred. What are you looking for? So we have the folks, they're ready to move forward. They say, yes, Tessa, I want to buy a house. I think I meet the requirements. What do they do? What do you need from them? Oh, you're on mute. Still on mute.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good evening, class participants. Thank you, Denisha and Tessa. You guys have done a great job in leading up to what the lenders want from you, the class participants. Again, my name is Wilfred Edwards. I'm from Needham Bank Mortgage Division. And I would like to share with you some of the things which all lenders will require, not only Needham Bank, but lenders who are participants in this program would require of you. Note well that not all lenders, not all banks do offer this Section 8 for home ownership incentives. So when you're shopping for your lender, you should always ask, do you guys offer the Section 8 for home ownership 1 mortgage? Once you have identified a lender, such as myself, you will be required to provide some information. And this information which you see here on the screen is the nucleus of what will be required of you. 3 years of W-2, 3 years of federal tax returns, all schedules. The W-2s must be from all jobs. 1 month of pay stubs and 2 months of assets, whether those assets are bank statement, credit union statements, investment accounts, stocks, etc. Next.
Wilfred, what is the credit score that you would
The
require?
credit score that is required by lenders for the 1 mortgage is 640. However, Tessa did say that BHA does require a credit score of 650. So in order to, for the lender, you could qualify, but BHA, in order to get their money, you must have that credit score 650.
So if you are not ready, so if you hear you don't have that 650, if you don't have, I believe it was $4,000 Tessa saved. So if you don't have the money saved, you have some work to do. And that's kind of where we team up to make sure you get that work done and you put in the work so that you can actually qualify for these, because we don't want you to miss this amazing opportunity.
Absolutely. Before I jump into that, Wilfred, one more question from the chat. For those with a disability, are there different requirements to obtain a mortgage pre-approval?
No, for disability, we use their Social Security disability income. That is considered by MHP as earned income. So those of you who are totally disabled, or those of you who are partially disabled and getting Social Security or Social Security disability income, you are still eligible to apply. Now, one other thing as far as credit scores are concerned, and Tessa, please correct me if I'm wrong, but not all applicants do have what is called um, the typical credit score. Some persons do not have credit scores because they have not established credit. They are accustomed to paying by cash and so on. If you have a thin credit file or no credit file, MHP and lenders do allow what is called alternative credit, which we can use to qualify prospective borrowers who do not have any credit score. Now, the alternative credit is you must show that you've been paying rent for at least 12 months. You must also show that you've been paying a utility bill for at least 12 months and one other mortgage, one other liability payment. That is called alternative credit, and it is used by lenders and MHP for programs like this. Yes, these payments must be on time, always. Now,
So
as
Wilfred, what if
yeah,
I was great for 9 months and there was 1 month, my 10th month, I messed up and I missed one. I was late for one of these payments and then I went back on time. I missed one. Do you still consider that, or do I have to start all over?
because these loans are portfolio loans. What do we mean by portfolio loans? These loans are held by the respective lenders that originate them. If you are late 1 month and you can provide the lender with what is considered a reasonable explanation, the lender may take it on a case-by-case basis, because MHP always defer to the decision of the lender, as long as it is within the Fannie Mae guidelines.
So that is code for do not be late on any of your payments, because even though he said they may depends on the discretion of the lenders. If they're not in a
Exactly.
great mood that day, or they're like, nope, this never works out from their past experience, it could backfire on you. So the goal would be set up automatic payment. We get on a schedule so we never miss payments. Anything that's reported that you know they're looking for, you do not miss those payments. Okay.
Now, as far as debt level is concerned, participants understand that the BHA does not approve your final mortgage application. The final mortgage application is approved by the lending bank in collaboration with MHP. MHP in these particular mortgage programs, they set the criteria. They determine what the debt to income ratios are. What do we mean by debt to income ratios? It is your total monthly debt. That is your minimum required debt on all debts that appears on your credit report. We take the minimum payment of all of those liabilities, we total them, and then we divide them by your monthly income. So let's say your monthly income was $4,000 a month. That means you're making $48,000 a year. What we would do then is to add all your monthly liabilities that appear on your credit report and divide those by the $4,000. Now, the requirements that MHP have set is a ratio of 28:36. What do we mean by that? The 28% is the highest that your housing costs cannot exceed that 28%. The 36% is the housing cost plus those other debt cannot exceed 36%. So for example, the person who has whose monthly income is $4,000, what you can do, and you can do this on your own, $4,000 multiplied by 0.28, that tells you a person making $4,000 a month, your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance cannot exceed $1,120 a month. Now, when you add your student loans in, your credit cards in, your car notes in, that $4,000 times 0.36, that means all your total debt cannot exceed $1,440 per month. Now, that is where Section 8 subsidy helps one. It helps you because depending on your voucher size, depending on the zip code in which you are purchasing, you can and you will get what is called Housing Assistance Payment, commonly called HAP. That HAP payment is subtracted from your PITI, and these ratios 28-36 can thus be met. So it is the only consideration that you should be concerned with now is that your percentage or your amount of that monthly payment must equals 30% of your adjusted gross income, your adjusted monthly gross income. So how do we arrive at that? That is why we required from you your notice of tenant share. So those of you who have that notice of tenant share tucked away, just search for it, pull it out, and if you can't find it, I'm sure Tessa will assist, directing you how you can arrive and retrieve that notice of tenant share. That notice of tenant share is very important to the lender. Yes, Tessa.
I've also created a new BHA homeownership voucher that has more accurate info compared to the notice of tenant share. So if you don't have your notice of tenant share, I will share a homeownership voucher with you to share with your lender. Same information, new word for it.
Okay, very good, excellent. Making our jobs easier. So why is the notice of tenant share important? Because it tells us the level of adjustment or the adjustment that your housing authority applies to your gross income, because it is the adjusted gross income that the tenants use. Now, as far as affordability, for example, you saw the $275,000 purchase price there. I ran a quick number on that earlier this evening, and I discovered that for those who are buying or purchasing that particular 275, you can or you will be eligible for up to about $86,000 in down payment assistance. How did we arrive at that number? First of all, the $75,000 is divided, or well, not divided, but is assigned to two parts. One, the interest rate buy down. You know that interest rates are high currently, are very high currently. For example, interest rates went up at my bank today to 6.625. 6.625. That's huge. That's big. The $75,000 will help you nevertheless. Those persons whose income is under or is up to 80% of the area median income, you automatically qualifies for a 1% rate reduction. So your rate now will fall from 6.625 to to 5.625. That's huge. That's enabled you to have lots more buying power. Now, in addition to that 1% rate buy down, there is another part of assistance, another part of money called Mass Dreams for those persons who live in all the zip codes in Boston and persons who live in 28 other cities and towns throughout Massachusetts that have been disproportionately impacted by COVID-19. So if you are currently living in any of those 29 cities or towns, 28 plus Boston, you may be eligible for Mass Dreams assistance. And Mass Dreams will contribute 5% of the purchase price, as well as they will pay all your closing costs, as well as they will allocate funding for you to further reduce that that interest rate. So now your interest rate falls from 6.625 minus 1, 5.625 minus 0.5% paid by Mass Dreams, which makes your interest rates now much more palatable, 5.125%. Now, the other, when we subtract out whatever the cost of that 1% interest rate reduction is, then all the remaining monies are of the $75,000 go towards down payment assistance. So for example, if the interest rate reduction was $12,000, you minus 75,000 minus 12,000, that leaves $63,000. That means $63,000 will go towards your down payment assistance. Then you add 5% of your 5% of the purchase price from Mass Dreams. Let's say that is another $12,000. That's 63 and 12 is $75,000. Now you have 1.5% of your own money. And 1.5% of your own money might be around, let's see, what 1.5% of 275? 275 times 0.415. That is $4,125. So now you have 75 and 4. So you have down payment assistance of $80,000 with you only contributing $4,000. That's huge, guys. So you can tell anyone you're putting down $80,000. Your mom, your dad, your friends. Where did you get $80,000 to put down on a house? And only working for $4,000. Where did you get all that money? Well, the secret is you're getting $63,000 from BHA for down payment. You're getting $12,000 from Mass Dreams for down payment. You're getting about $10,000 in closing costs from Mass Dreams. Then you're getting another, maybe another $8,000 from Mass Dreams. So in all, you're getting over $100,000 in this transaction, and you're only contributing $4,000. Huge.
In addition to the monthly subsidy. Yep.
In addition to the monthly subsidy.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Tessa, I know the stash program is closed right now, but Maha has a program where if you are able to save $2,000, they match that and they give you either $10,000 or $20,000 extra towards your down payment. So if that's able to be combined with this, you're looking at $110,000, $120,000 that you're getting towards your mortgage, which makes it extremely affordable for you. And this is why we don't want you guys to miss out on these opportunities.
Yes, if you're a stash member with Maha, or if you participate in FSS, Family Self-Sufficiency at BHA, you can use those funds towards your home purchase. Correct.
So FSS is offered by a number of housing authorities. It also is offered by Working Capital Compass Group. So you can, for those of you who might be interested, Go ahead, sign up with one of those agencies, you get your matching funds. Also, for those who wants to take full advantage of all the grants monies out there, at certain times during the course of the year, Federal Home Loan Banks does make funds available to eligible applicants. And these funds are eligible of up to $29,000. So if you could very well be looking, putting down only $4,000 and having upwards of close to $150,000 in grant monies.
So again, guys, a lot of money is out there right now. These are all grants. These are blessings, some of them blessings from COVID. We know it was a tough time, but some things came out that were positive. This is from people advocating to make this available. And these are grants. So once they're gone, they're gone. We're not sure how long these funds will be available, if they will be renewed. So that's why we want you to focus. Make sure you're sticking to your goal so that you can be one of the many who can actually purchase and take advantage of all of this. So when you reach out, we have the link in the chat. We'll put it again to Tessa and myself because you're interested. What we do is create a plan of like, okay, this is where your income is, your credit, this is how much you have to save. We put a plan together for you, help you figure out what you need to do. And then now I'm looking at all of these different pots of money. And it's like, we're going to monitor all of this to see when it's your turn, do you have access to all of these funds? Because we want to make sure you're connected to all the things, all the money out there. We need you to be connected.
And guys, there's no real magic to this thing. It is just applying yourself and understanding what you need to do and go for it. Now, you may be asking, how much would I have to pay towards my mortgage? How much you have to pay is always 30% of your gross, of your monthly adjusted gross income. 30% is your total debt burden. So if you work for $4,000, let's say a month, using that $4,000 times 0.3, so that's $1,200 will be contributed that you know that you'll be paying towards your mortgage under the Section 8 for home ownership program. Now, Section 8 subsidy will come in. Let's say your mortgage is, your PITI is $3,000. It means that based on your particular characteristics, Section 8 will be paying at least $1,800 of that $2,000. Sorry, of that $3,000. Section 8 will be paying $1,800 and you'll be paying $1,200. As I said, dependent on your particular individual characteristics. But what you know for sure is that your contribution will always be 30% of your adjusted income.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let me see. Hold on. Let me go back. There was a question in the chat. I think they put it private. Okay, so Wilfred, what happens if we said you need to have work history? So we didn't. In order to use this, you do need to have income. So you do need to be employed because you need to qualify to pay your portion. They do not pay all of your housing costs. It's a percentage. You need to prove to the bank that you can afford some portion of this to be able to afford a home. So you do need to be employed. Typically, banks want 2 years of work history, Wilfred. What happens if you have a gap in your employment?
It depends. It depends how long that gap is, and it depends on the lender. For example, my bank would turn an eye if the gap is no more than 3 months. Over 3 months, you would have to provide a letter of writing with compelling circumstances that will be reviewed by management. Management makes that determination if it is between 3 and 6 months. Over 6 months, we would not approve you. A gap of 6 months or more, we would not approve you. But again, you may find a lender who might be a little less lenient. I don't think you will, but because one bank says that they're not going to approve you for gaps greater than 6 months, that does not mean that another one may not. So if you get turned down for a gap, and I have a problem with this as a loan officer, but I don't set the rules. What I mean by that is, under normal circumstances, I understand gaps should not be more than 3 months for that matter. But because of the circumstances of COVID, and so many persons were impacted job-wise, employment-wise by COVID, if I was setting the rules, I would have been more lenient. But unfortunately, I don't set the rules. I only apply the rules. So my suggestion to you is, if you have a gap greater than 3 months, and one bank turns you down, try to shop around and see what another bank may do for you. But basically, we use the Fannie Mae guidelines as far as gaps are concerned.
There were a few questions in the chat that were really great that I just want to share with everybody. One thing that I want to make sure that I mention is that this opportunity for a monthly mortgage subsidy is available to BHA residents in both leased housing and public housing. So if that wasn't clear earlier, public housing residents are eligible to receive a monthly mortgage subsidy from BHA in our program, which is really exciting. That's new as of this year. And we've already had 2 successful public housing home buyers who will be receiving monthly subsidy. And then I think we're ready to continue on with the slides.
I think so.
Okay. A lot of you, I'm sure, are very interested, who wouldn't be interested in such an amazing opportunity to purchase a home at the Preserve at Olmsted Green. But being home buying ready is a big task. It requires a lot. And it's more than likely that you still need to work on one or a few of the eligibility requirements for our first home program. And Denisha and I are here to help with that. So if after reviewing the eligibility requirements that I discussed earlier, you said, my credit score is not quite high enough, I know I need to work on my savings, things like that, we're here to help. So instead of saying no, I always like to say not yet. We're not there yet, but we will get there. So myself and Denisha are happy to help you prepare for home buying. I have created a lot of different client resources. So again, on these slides, and then in the link that I'm happy to share, I created a 16-page preparing for homeownership guide that really walks you through each of the requirements and steps and programs that can help you get there. So I encourage you, even if you're not quite fully home buying ready, to still apply to the BHA First Home Program, this Preserve at Olmsted Green link, because then I will have your information. I can provide support and resources as well as Denisha. And you know, as Denisha said, these units are still under construction. It's not like you need to be home buying ready today to participate in this opportunity, but I think it's really important, if you're interested, to submit an application so that we have your information and can start assisting you with becoming home buying ready for these homes at the Preserve.
Yes, and just to
Couple of
reiterate,
things.
pardon?
Sorry, couple of things. My recommendation, or the lender's recommendation to you participant, is make sure that before you are ready, please meet with a lender to get a credit pull, and do not say that you don't want a hard pull. That's the only way we can make a valid assessment of where you are. You should get a hard pull of your credit at least 3 months prior to embarking on your home buying journey. The reason I'm saying that is if your credit score needs some work, it takes about 3 months for you to remedy those flaws and have the creditor report those solutions to the respective credit bureaus. Resolving them, letting them flow through the system, reporting so that they can reflect on your credit report. So I would readily suggest that you should meet with a lender at least 3 months before you're ready to do a pre-qualification with a hard pull. Everyday persons call me about pre-approvals and pre-qualification, but they do not want a hard pull. Well, the only way a lender can give you a valid is by pulling your credit. Now, another thing that I come up against pretty often with persons low to moderate income are persons embark on doing second jobs in order to boost their income to give them more buying power. Note well, second jobs income is only counted if you have a 24-month track record of earning second job income. You can't start a second job 9 months ago and hope that it is counted. That will your 9 months of second job income will not be counted, because Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae states that in order for second job income to be included in the underwriting calculation, you must have a track record of 24 months employment. Now, it need not be at the same job. It need not be at the same job, but we want to see that you have a track record of 24 months. Now, earlier, someone asked the question about Section 8 for if it can be used for multifamily. My understanding is that the $75,000 can be used towards purchasing two-family properties. However, you are not eligible for the monthly subsidy because BHA and other authorities recognize that you are already getting your assistance by the additional rental income that you're taking. But you can leverage the $75,000 towards down payment, but there's no subsidy for you.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Wilfred. So what we do, if you're interested, you fill out the form so that we know you are interested in Olmsted Green specifically. You can use your voucher to purchase anywhere in Boston if you want to have access to the $75,000, right? So you can buy outside of Boston. You will only receive the subsidy, but you will not receive the down payment assistance, okay? So if you want to maximize, so piling on all of the resources that are out there right now, you need to buy in Boston. And then if you're trying to make sure that your housing is super affordable in a new construction in a great community, then we ask you to consider Olmsted Green, because those prices are not normal for Boston, right? They're discounted, significantly discounted to what people would pay market rate for these. So when you combine all of those, you get a very affordable housing costs, monthly housing costs, that should make it where you can save, because they're taking 30% of your income is what they're calculating, not 30% of your take home or your spending or anything like that. So if you're able to put more money towards saving and more money towards your other goals, this is huge for you, right? So combining all of these with an affordable unit, such as Olmsted, is really great because you have access to so many resources. We meet, so you'll fill out the form. Tessa will connect us, and then we'll see where you are, right? Where you are with your finances. What do we need to work on? And we'll put a plan together. And then we check in with you to make sure you're sticking to that goal. And if you need to be connected to additional resources, we're going to make sure you do that, right? So if we know you are a first generation buyer, so your parents have not owned before, you are the first one who would be purchasing, you have access to the stash program, right? We'll make sure you're enrolled in that once they reopen, because that's an additional pot of funds that you'll have access to, that if I had a voucher, my parents already own, I would not have access to that because I'm no longer a first generation buyer. So wherever you fit, where we can connect you to resources where you can get additional funds to combine with what you already have, we're going to make sure you do that. We're going to make sure you take the first time home buyers course where you get the certificate, because you need that certificate to be eligible for all of these programs as well. So we're going to make sure you're doing everything in a time frame that makes sense so that you can be ready for these opportunities. Yes, the lottery application process is going to take place this year, but you don't need to get a pre-approval from the bank to apply. You just have to say, hey, I want to live in Olmsted. I submitted my paperwork by the deadline so that I am eligible, right, to enter the lottery. And then we have that time after to make sure you're doing everything, because I'll give you your down to the dollar what you need to do, so that by the time your name is called, hopefully you are ready to move forward. Then you say, Wilfred, I need a pre-approval. Can you help me with this? They said, I get a unit. I get to live here. Help me move forward, right? So we're going to put the plan together for you so you don't have to stress about it. Make sure you're okay. Make sure you can meet all those deadlines, and that you can buy. Let's see. I think that's everything for us. Do you have anything else, Tessa?
Just quickly, I think, this is a lot of information tonight. There's a lot of different entities between Boston Housing Authority, the Preserve, mortgage pre-approval with the bank. It's a big process. It can be quite confusing. And I understand a lot of you will probably have questions, and we're here to help. We're happy to answer them. But if you are interested, I encourage you to submit an application first. I can much better answer questions if I have all of your application data pulled up in front of me while I'm answering your email or on the phone with you. So whether you're home buying ready today or not yet there, that's okay. Submit an application to BHA's First Home Program through the Preserve at Olmsted Green. We have that special link for these properties that Denisha just put in our chat. Apply first. When you apply, I reach out to you anyways, regardless if you're ready or not ready. But if you have specific questions, email me after you submit your application. I'll just have some more information to answer your questions on.
And many of you asked for contact information. So here's a slide. You can take a photo of it, but this session is being recorded. Once it uploads and does its thing, I will upload it to YouTube. I will send you guys the link for that. I will also send you a copy of the presentation. So if you like to, take notes on things, you'll have that as well. And then everyone's contact information. So if you have questions to follow up with, we want to make sure that you are comfortable, you are confident in moving forward, and you have a team of people who've done this before. They understand the process and they can help you and guide you through so that it's not as overwhelming, because there is a lot when you think about home ownership in general. So this is just adding another layer that we want to make sure you feel supported, and you have a clear path forward in terms of what you need to do. So I'm trying to see if there are any questions that we did not answer. I'm going to go in reverse order right now. So if you guys have questions, please put them in the chat. Thank you so much for staying with us for the past hour and 15 minutes or so. We hope it was helpful. It was informative for you guys, that you're excited. Like, I wish I could live in Olmsted because I genuinely do like it over there. So I encourage you to drive by and take a look. Yes, it is in Mattapan. It does not feel like you're in the city of Boston. Like, it really doesn't. So I encourage you to take a drive and take a look at it. And let me see here. Link for homeownership workshop. So for the home buyers, the certificate course, which is valid for 3 years, I can send that in a link for you guys after. So I'll put the links in an email so you have it. Is the market rate, or is it market rate, or is it inflation addition to the market? I'm not sure what you mean by that question, Daniel. So if you'd like to clarify, that would be helpful. So for Olmsted specifically, there are homes at different price ranges and different income tiers. So everyone has an equal and fair opportunity to purchase a home. Because it wouldn't be fair that you make $100,000 or $200,000 and you can afford Boston easily, and I make $50,000 and I can't afford anything. So what the city said was, I'm going to try to make these homes affordable at different income tiers so that even if you're making $50,000 or $60,000, you have an equal and fair chance of owning a home to stay in the city of Boston. With the BHA program, they add another layer on that because your income might be lower, right? But because of that subsidy, you're still able to purchase a home in the city of Boston. And the goal is to keep Boston residents in Boston. People from the community, invested in the community, give them an opportunity to stay. So that's the goal of the program. That is our mission, what we all believe in and what we're striving for, so that you have an equal and fair opportunity. And that's why it's a lottery, right? Because if it were where you're like, I like it, can I submit an offer? Then it's not necessarily fair to the person who didn't hear about it at the same time that you did. So the goal is everyone applies, and with a lottery, everyone has an equal and fair, same opportunity to potentially own one of these, because it's just, you just have that one chance, right? So when you get selected, if you need an accessible unit, the lottery timeframe is the same as everyone else. It's just when they select those names, you go into a separate pot, so to speak, or category where they're going to draw your name for specifically these accessible units, because you would get preference or priority for these units over someone who does not need an accessible unit. Okay. So that would be one of the differences. So if you are interested in an accessible unit, let us know so we make sure we're putting you in touch with the right people. And what we do is, why we want you guys to sign up. Once these lottery applications become available, you're getting a phone call, you're getting email, you're getting text message to make sure that you apply. Because you can't say I didn't know at that point, because everyone's making sure that you know to meet that deadline, okay? And make sure that you're prepared. Let me see.
Just a note to the participants. For those of you who are not BHA voucher holders or residents, or may have friends who would like to participate in this home ownership journey, there are other, for Somerville Housing, for example, has a similar program. You will not be eligible for 75,000, but if you buy in the city of Boston using the One Plus Boston program, you may be eligible for funding of up to 50,000. And that up to is a big difference from the definitive 75,000 that Boston Housing is giving you. But at least you still have the opportunity to enter the Olmsted lottery with substantial down payment assistance. So that is something you can share with your family and friends who may not be affiliated with Boston Housing Authority.
There are still opportunities. So if you know that anyone has a housing authority voucher, whether it's Brockton, Somerville, Springfield, I encourage you just to have them reach out to their caseworker, reach out to the authority and ask, what do they offer? Because I know Metro doesn't have this program, but they offer, I believe, $5,000 towards your housing costs, so in assistance, right? So everyone has something. It's just going to look a little bit different. It's better to know by asking and getting confirmation than just assuming. So don't assume that it's a no, call and ask, so you get clarity on what it is. Because you can use any of those. If you don't have BHA, you can use any of those other programs to still purchase in Olmsted Green, right? So the Olmsted Green is not exclusive to that. You still have that opportunity It's just now we're going to be looking everywhere to find funding sources for you to help make that difference, make up that difference as close as possible. I'm not sure of that last question, Tessa. They're saying they have, okay, you just answered it.
Yeah, so if you're a BHA resident, you will have a Boston Housing Authority client ID or entity ID number on any and all communications from Boston Housing Authority to you via mail, email, anything like that. So you most likely will know if you're a Boston Housing Authority resident.
And these, just to clarify, Tessa, you can be in BHA housing, or you can be in a rental unit in a 2-family or a 3-family somewhere else. It could even be if you're in Brockton or you're in Lynn, but you have, I don't know if you have programs there, I'm just giving examples.
Yeah, so
you can
any
be in
and
another
all
city and have a voucher, as long as it's a BHA voucher.
any and all BHA residents are able to apply to our first home program. So leased housing, public housing, federal, state, any program is eligible. It just needs to be through BHA. If you look at the screen here, our logo is on everything. So you'll know if you're a BHA resident.
Awesome. So thank you guys. You could have been anywhere else tonight, but you chose to be with us, and we are appreciative of that. We hope it was informative. We hope you are excited for all of the opportunities, because you got the house, you got the loan, you have the down payment, you have more down payment and assistance out there. You have access to an interest rate that a lot of other people do not have access to right now. Wilfred's Bank is at 6.625. Other lenders are at 7. So you are at, with this program, we're hearing numbers in 5s. So you have a great opportunity, and we want you guys to take advantage of it and don't miss it. Because I've seen people where they ignore it, and then later on they change their mind, but now it's too late. Right? So you have to seize the moment. If you're interested, go through the process. If you change your mind when the deadline is there and you say, I don't want to do it anymore, but you're prepared no matter what, right? You always want to be prepared for the opportunity, because you don't know when it's going to come. Okay. So I see Marie. Marie's hand is raised. Hello. Hold on. You have to, do you have a question, Marie? Okay. Do I have to unmute you? Wait. Let me see if I can change the thing.
Okay, I think I'm all set now. Yeah, I was just gonna say, I saw several, by the way, everyone, I'm Marie Morissette. I'm one of the development partners for the Olmsted Green. I saw a lot of questions about the area and Mattapan. If anyone has any questions or just want to know what it's like living at Olmsted Green, wants to talk to other residents, we have some testimonials. We're happy to provide that information as well. We want to equip you with everything you need to make a well-informed decision on moving forward towards the path of home ownership, making sure it's a good fit for you and your family. So if you do have any question with regards to the area and the campus where these properties are going to be constructed, let Denisha know, and we'll make sure to, get you in contact, schedule a tour. We are here for you. All of these resources are for you in making sure that, we assist you with your homeownership dreams. So that was the only piece I wanted to add.
And I'll add, I think it's on YouTube. I don't remember where, but I know you shared a video. So maybe I'll try to find that and I'll attach that.
I'll send it to you if you want to include it in the packet when people ask for it, sign up.
Yep,
Yep.
I'll do that. Tamiko, give me 1 second. I think you should be able to unmute yourself if I did it correctly.
So if your voucher is for a certain amount, can you have bedrooms over that amount?
Yes, so your voucher size will determine your monthly subsidy amount. you can purchase a home with any number of bedrooms. There are no bedroom requirements for the home that you purchase. Of course, it needs to be within your pre-approval amount, so it's within your home purchasing budget. But as far as BHA is concerned, you can purchase a home with any number of bedrooms. Your BHA voucher size will determine how much subsidy you get each month.
Thank you. And in the chat, Tashawn, you asked, can you purchase at Olmsted if you're not a BHA resident? Yes, you are able to. This project is not exclusive to BHA residents. Tonight's presentation is for those who have the voucher to make sure that they're aware of this opportunity, and aware of the process, and making sure that when the time arises for them to actually apply, they'll be able to qualify for a mortgage and be able to go through with the process for one of these units. So you do not have to be a BHA resident or participant to apply or be interested in Olmsted Green. We will have lots of presentations specific to this project, so that you have access to it. Let's see. I think Judy has a question. Yes, Judy, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Hello. I think I had missed the part because I'm juggling like 2 kids at the same time.
Understood.
So I was one of those people that had lost my job during the pandemic, unfortunately. And I know my question is, when it's time to go to the bank, to the lenders, I remember Wilfred had mentioned, well, hey, if you're not employed by within like 3 months of not being employed, they may not approve you for that loan, and you need references. Where do we get those type of references? Like from our previous like employers or friends or family? Like,
I did not use the word references. I meant, or I meant to state that you can write a letter, your letter, not a reference letter. You write a letter explaining the circumstances that contributed or led to your being out of work for that extended period of time. Maybe there was illness. Maybe you were ill. Maybe there were illness in your family. Child care circumstances beyond your control. Whatever the cause was that caused you to have been unemployed for an extended period of time, you write it, submit it to us, and management will make a one-on-one decision on that. So I'm not advocating that you go there and ask for references from anyone. You are your own reference.
Okay, hopefully that was helpful. If there are no further questions, thank you guys again for joining us. We hope we've answered everything. We hope you are confident, informed, and ready to move forward. So once this uploads, we'll upload it to YouTube, and we'll share the link with everyone so you can catch the replay. You'll have everyone's contact information, and you'll be able to ask any questions. You can respond to that email with questions if you'd like as well. Have a wonderful evening. Have a good night. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you, everyone, and good night.
Okay, good night. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Nisha. That was awesome.
Thank you. Very, very informative. You guys are awesome.